December 22, 1947, Kraków, Poland. The former staff of Auschwitz, the deadliest German Nazi concentration camp, hears their sentences read. After a month of gruesome testimonies, 23 defendants out of the 41 are sentenced to death by hanging. One of them is Maximilian Grabner, a sadistic Gestapo chief at Auschwitz. Maximilian Grabner was born on the 2nd of October 1905 in Vienna, then Austria-Hungary. Grabner had a simple school education and worked as a lumberjack in the 1920s. In 1930, he joined the Austrian police and worked first as a police officer and later as a detective at the police headquarters in Vienna. In 1932, Maximilian Grabner joined the Nazi Party, and after the Anschluss, when German troops invaded Austria and incorporated Austria into the German Reich on the 12th of March 1938, he joined the SS. Soon after, Grabner became a member of the Gestapo, which was an official secret police of Nazi Germany. When in May 1940, the Nazis established Auschwitz, the most notorious concentration camp located in Nazi-occupied Poland, Maximilian Grabner became the camp's Gestapo chief. As the head of the political department in Auschwitz, Grabner's responsibilities were to fight against and suppress any resistance movements within the camp, as well as prevent any attempts to escape or make contact with the outside world. Grabner was bloodthirsty, and every time he appeared in the camp, he terrorized the prisoners. While some inmates were arrested and executed by firing squad, the others were locked in bunkers and tortured. His specialties included water torture, nail puncturing, or using specialized tools with which to compress the inmates' fingers. The smallest violations of the rules were punished with death. In fatality reports, he ordered the death of the murdered prisoners to be camouflaged as natural, reporting it most often as typhoid fever. Maximilian Grabner considered everything that was Polish to be vulgar and lacking in quality and good taste. He hated the Poles, especially the members of the intelligentsia, such as teachers, priests, physicians, and other prominent members of Polish society. He shared his hatred towards the Poles with Hans Ahlmeyer, Auschwitz deputy commandant. However, while Ahlmeyer tolerated them as long as they were of some use to him, Grabner was killing them without any remorse. Maximilian Grabner was also active in carrying out the selections on the ramp. In order to keep the victims calm before they were murdered in gas chambers with poisonous gas Zyklon B, Grabner told them politely to undress, hang their clothes on hooks, take a shower, and promised they would be provided with soup and tea or coffee. However, they were soon murdered. Maximilian Grabner never missed a chance to kill poor Jews. Once, 250 Jewish men, women, and children were to be killed in a gas chamber. During a gassing, Zyklon B had to be thrown down through both openings of the gas chamber room at the same time. 2 guards were required to do this. But on this occasion, only one of them showed up. Grabner immediately asked the other SS man to pour the Zyklon B into the opening, killing all 250 innocent people inside. On one occasion, a woman who was tortured in Block 11 was to be shot at the death wall. However, she was not wounded by the gunfire because she fell after losing consciousness due to shock and fear. Because the crematorium was overloaded, her body and the other corpses were put to one side in order to be burned in the evening. When in the evening the women regained consciousness and started to beg to have her life spared, Grabner was informed about the situation by a guard who was present in the crematorium, and he came over immediately and shot the poor woman with his own revolver. On another occasion, a capo of the Sonderkommando, which was a unit of camp's prisoners forced to help with the disposal of gas chamber victims, asked Grabner to provide him with one more inmate because one prisoner had died. Grabner replied that he could not give him one inmate, but could give him 5 prisoners instead, on one condition. The capo would have to kill 4 other prisoners in his unit. Then Grabner asked the capo how he was beating the inmates. When the capo showed Grabner the rubber truncheon, Grabner grabbed the iron rod and explained to the capo that he should beat the prisoners with such a rod instead. Maximilian Grabner remained in his position at Auschwitz until November 1943, when he was dismissed and arrested on account of numerous abuses of power and corruption. Instead of fighting theft and corruption, Grabner was accused of having enriched himself to a considerable extent by plundering the possessions of murdered Jews. Even though these stolen possessions were considered the property of the Nazi Party and the SS, Grabner often sent these items to his Vienna apartment instead. Maximilian Grabner was also accused of carrying out the arbitrary shooting of 2,000 inmates without execution warrants. The prosecutors requested a 12-year sentence, but because the head of the Gestapo, Heinrich Müller, refused to cooperate, the trial was never completed. After the end of the war, Maximilian Grabner was finally to face justice and pay for his crimes. He was captured by the Allies and handed over to the Polish authorities. He was tried at the Auschwitz Trial, which began in November 1947 and lasted 1 month. At the trial, Grabner claimed that he was only involved in the murder of millions of people out of consideration for his family. He even said that he had never been an anti-Semite. However, his lies did not help him escape justice. On the 22nd of December 1947, the Polish Supreme National Tribunal in Kraków sentenced Grabner to death by hanging. He was 42 years old when he was executed on the 28th of January 1948. There were no tears shed for Maximilian Grabner.
Thanks for watching the World History channel, and don't miss our next videos. Click the subscribe button now for more interesting clips. Give us a like and see you in the following episode.